And now former Providence police officers facing several drug charges after Pawtucket police say she was arrested in a narcotics bust this morning.
Kate Wilkinson joins us now live in studio with new details we just learned from police.
Yeah, Pawtucket police say it was a months-long investigation that led to the arrest of 25-year-old Destiny Vieira. Among the multiple drug charges she faces, she's accused of selling or manufacturing in the area of a school.
Just last September, Destiny Vieira took an oath to protect the city of Providence. Now Pawtucket police say she has been charged in a narcotics investigation.
Based on the seriousness of the allegations and the standards that we uphold in the Providence Police Department, this individual will not be retained by the Providence Police.
Providence Police Chief Colonel Oscar Perez says because Vieira has been on the force for less than a year, she was only a probationary officer. According to the city of Providence, her salary at the time of her arrest was around $73,000.
So when you see a young person that had the opportunity of a lifetime to make a difference, and unfortunately, you know, because of certain judgments that they make, it taints the work.
Pawtucket police say Vieira was arrested in the early hours of this morning alongside 24-year-old Jalen Lopez of Pawtucket. Both are facing multiple drug dealing and manufacturing charges. Among the accusations, that this was happening in or around a school. Pawtucket police did not immediately provide where the drug bust occurred.
It's upsetting, but I'll tell you that it does not define the dedicated work of the men and women of the Providence Police Department.
Both suspects are scheduled to be arraigned by a bail commissioner tomorrow. Live in the studio, Kate Wilkinson, 12 News.
The Clay County Sheriff's Office gave an update about the arrest about 90 minutes ago, and our Sydney Deshawn was there. She's joining us live right now from Clay County. And Sydney, tell us more about this deputy who was arrested.
Yeah, Sheriff Michelle Cook just announcing the arrest of one of their very own deputies, 33-year-old Ryan Perry, who is now facing charges of armed sexual battery. Sheriff Cook says the incident all happened on June 18th when two deputies responded to a theft report at a home in Orange Park. Now, during that investigation, Sheriff Cook says Perry followed the victim upstairs. The other deputy stayed downstairs gathering more information from witnesses. Investigators say while Perry and the victim were alone, he demanded that the victim expose herself, then inappropriately touched her against her will, which the sheriff says led to the charge of armed sexual battery. The sheriff's office was notified of this incident last Saturday and launched an investigation immediately, which led to Perry's arrest tonight.
I'm pissed, devastated, let down. You know, we're here to protect and serve our community, not victimize them. And the fact that somebody who wears a badge victimized somebody in this community is devastating. It makes me mad.
Now, Sheriff Cook says Perry had two prior internal investigations. One was sustained, the other was unfounded. He had been with the department since 2018 and was terminated tonight. Cook is urging anyone who may have had a similar experience with Perry to come forward, and she praised the victim for speaking out. Reporting live from Clay County, Sydney Deshawn, First Coast News, on your side.
Good morning. Welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range. Thank you so much for being here today, folks. I really appreciate it. We're going to start out in Fulton County. I know she looks familiar. I feel like we reported on her before, but it says here that former Fulton County deputy has been indicted on charges of excessively tasing inmates. Okay, that sounds familiar too. Either way, listen, she's lost her job, she's former, and now it's going to be really hard for her to be able to afford her beautician or whoever does her hair. That person is going to go hungry. I bet her hair is just going to grow wild. Okay, former Fulton County deputy was indicted and arraigned in federal court on Tuesday on charges of using unreasonable force against 3 inmates. Channel 2's Michael Seiden first reported on detention officer Sergeant Khadijah Solomon. Oh, yeah. Oh, Khadijah. I remember you now. Back in February. So, but in body camera videos, Solomon is heard saying, "I'm about to pop his ass," as she uses a key to open the cell door of an inmate, according to an affidavit obtained by Seiden. And is that all? Okay. Well, that's all we have on Khadijah. Welcome back to the show. and she's a former Fulton County deputy, and she's got formal charges against her for her excessive tasing. Okay, let's move on with the show.
A bounty hunter and licensed private investigator both charged with murder following a deadly shooting in Dallas. Rodney Brown and Jorge Monsivas stand accused of shooting and killing 33-year-old Drew Knowles. The crime happened Thursday morning near some apartments in Old East Dallas. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager is live tonight with more from those newly released court documents. Hey, Peyton.
Hi, Casey. And we spent the whole day trying to find new information on these two suspects. They are here tonight at the Dallas County Jail. Now, according to online public records with the state of Texas, the armed security officer licenses for both of these bounty hunters actually expired last month. So after the deadly shooting yesterday, the two suspects were taken to DPD headquarters to be interviewed. They are now both charged with murder.
A family from Arkansas is grieving, sending us these photos of 33-year-old Drew Knowles, who moved to Dallas in 2019. Dallas police say Knowles was shot and killed Thursday near Deep Ellum when two bounty hunters opened fire on his vehicle. Both bounty hunters now face murder. They are identified as 34-year-old Rodney Brown and his partner, 23-year-old Jorge Monsivas. According to an arrest affidavit Fox 4 obtained on Friday, the two bounty hunters were executing a warrant for Knowles. Dallas County Sheriff's Office confirmed to Fox 4 Knowles did have two active felony warrants, one for theft from Dallas police and another for credit card abuse out of Carrollton. The bounty hunters first went to Knowles' listed address, a high-rise in Uptown off Thomas Avenue, but he wasn't there. Then, while using automated license plate readers, Brown and Monsivas learned Knowles' vehicle was parked near Live Oak Street and Cantegral in Old East Dallas. Police say that's when the pair, who were in two separate vehicles, boxed Knowles' BMW in. The affidavit states police reviewed nearby surveillance video. The video showed as Knowles was trying to drive away, both Brown and Monsivas opened fire and were shooting into a moving vehicle and not being in danger of being run over. Knowles was shot at least 4 times. He crashed out into a nearby power pole. Cell phone video from a witness shows what appears to be the two bounty hunters minutes after the crash. Police say Monsivas didn't have any outer clothing identifying him as a bounty hunter, and Brown had a vest with the writing "Warrant Services" in the top corner. But both of them clearly appear to be in a panic.
And we're following breaking news right now. The jury has reached a verdict in the trial of Andrew Selby.
He's the former Lancaster City Bureau of Police officer who was on trial for raping and attempting multiple underage victims.
And let's go to Sarah Metz. She was in the courtroom when that verdict was read. She joins us now with more on what happened. Sarah?
Yeah, after about 4.5 hours, the jury of 5 women and 7 men actually found Andrew Scott Selby guilty on 7 out of 8 counts. Now, I was not sitting far from Selby during those deliberations in the hallway. He pretty much sat in silence the entire time as he waited to learn his fate, only ever looking up to talk to those who are close to him. Now, Selby is accused of using his power as a police officer to and or assault young girls between the ages of 11 and 16 back in the late 90s. I also had to sit behind him while that verdict was read. He didn't move or make any audible comments, but some family members, on the other hand, actually bursted out in tears. At one point, they stormed right past the bailiff and out of the courtroom while the judge was still talking. There also was a victim inside the courtroom who smiled after the first few guilty verdicts were read. The trial has had its ups and downs, with many heated moments inside the courtroom, including one where I'm told the judge became visibly angry at Selby's defense attorney. Court documents actually say he ended up fining the attorney $1,000 for commenting on the credibility of a witness and their testimony. Now, I did speak with Selby's defense attorney after court let out and the verdict was read and Selby was taken away in cuffs. He did say that
We have breaking news about a real bad apple. It says here bail reduction is denied for Stanislaus deputy charged with kidnap and EXUAL assault. And we're going to find out why. Okay. Mr. Danger to the community, perhaps. A Stanislaus County judge on Friday set bail at $740,000 for a former sheriff's deputy charged with kidnapping and sexually assaulting women while on duty in the Hugh-Son area, rejecting defense arguments for a lower amount. Israel Morales, age 31, appeared in Stanislaus Superior Court in shackles and in a red-striped jail uniform for his further arraignment on a series of felony charges. Looking good there, Israel. Okay. Oh, his series of felony charges include forcible oral copulation, aggravated kidnapping, and false imprisonment. Prosecutors allege Morales abused his authority as a deputy to detain women under threat of arrest and coerced them into X acts, sometimes while he was armed. Okay. Court hearing included emotional statements from one of the women identified as a victim in the complaint, who told the judge she feared for her safety. She said, quote, "I'm scared," she said, describing how Morales allegedly drove by her home repeatedly while on night patrol and banged on her door trying to get her to come outside. Quote, she said, "I don't come outside anymore." Okay, man, this dude. Okay, Deputy District Attorney Larissa Jones argued that Morales poses a danger to the community and the alleged victims if released. Okay, she cited that she described him as having a pattern of intimidation, sophisticated planning, including evidence that Morales turned off his body camera, wiped down his patrol vehicle with Clorox disinfectant wipes after encounters. Okay. I don't know if I want to read all this crap. Anyways, Morales is represented by a defense attorney. Who cares? And what does it say here? Highly defensible, right? The least restrictive means here is a reasonable bail. Blah, blah, blah. A bunch of arguing back and forth. The fact is, this guy ain't getting out right now unless he's got $740,000. Okay? So let's move on with the show, and we'll report on him later.
He was known as the DUI King, making hundreds of drunk driving arrests for the state's largest police force before his name was connected to the ongoing federal DWI corruption investigation. Tonight, KRQE investigative reporter Gabrielle Burkhart shows you how this is impacting recent drunk driving cases and how much the officer is getting paid to stay off the force.
How much you had to drink today?
Known for cracking down on drunk driving in New Mexico, this state police sergeant,
I love this uniform. I like serving the public.
held a long reputation for holding people accountable.
You'll be placed under arrest for DWI.
Toby LaFave's own cameras capture his hundreds of arrests over the years.
Hey there.
The so-called DWI King joined the force more than 20 years ago and was featured on billboards for the state's End DWI campaign.
By the time someone is arrested for DWI, it's not usually their first time. It's just the first time they get caught, right?
So the idea LaFave was a straight shooter, one who upheld the law and kept the streets safer, made it all the more shocking when his name got tied to the ongoing federal investigation into the state's biggest DWI corruption scandal, a scheme where officers were working with a now disgraced defense attorney accepting cash to get DWI cases dismissed.
LaFave's name was placed on the Bernalillo County District Attorney's Giglio list in February, joining more than a dozen other law enforcement officers who are no longer considered credible witnesses in court. It's all part of the pending federal investigation into officers participating in the corruption scheme.
If you're betrayed by a stranger, it's like, well, that's that person. What can you do? But then it hurts a lot more. It stabs you a little bit deeper when it's someone that you should be able to trust with these cases.
District Attorney Barbara Romo is responsible for prosecuting cases in Cibola, Valencia, and Sandoval counties. But without an arresting officer's testimony, a conviction, especially in a DWI case, isn't possible.
We can't prosecute any of his cases where he's the primary officer.
I've been doing this a long time, so you think that you've seen it all, but then something like this happens and you realize that you haven't.
State Police Chief Troy Weisler told us in February he got a call from the FBI and immediately placed LaFave on administrative leave. The pending cases LaFave handled were automatically dismissed with no consequences for the accused.
I've never been to jail, please, sir.
This driver admitted to drinking and driving in December.
I drink. sending my kids to school. I need to find something to contact my father because, like, honestly, he's probably super mad at me.
What could have been a harsh lesson for this young mom
At least you're alive, you know?
is now a lucky break. It's a similar story again and again.
Okay, well, you know, I'd rather you be late for curfew than me scrape your body up off the roadway because someone chose to drive drunk.
Dozens of Lefebvre's recent encounters with apparent drunk drivers,
Can I ask where my speed limit was going? 121.
many of them young,
How much you had to drink? I only had a shot.
recently amount to dozens of free passes in court.
Hey there.
Hi.
How are you?
Take this traffic stop he made in September.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
I'm trying to catch up to you. You actually reached a speed of 98 miles an hour.
The teenage driver he stopped from flying on the freeway fails field sobriety tests.
Starting with the letter H as in Henry, stopping at the letter R as in Robert.
I can't do that.
You can't do that test? Why not?
Wait, H?
Start at H and stop at R.
I can't.
Why not?
I've never had to count backwards by H.
Okay. One, you're not counting. You are reciting the alphabet forward.
Lefebvre arrests her for DWI. Cuffed in the back seat, the teenage driver gives him attitude.
Yeah, automatically dismissed. How do you...
Dismissed.
I ain't gonna get charged with
As fate would have it, she was right, but not because she proved to anyone that she wasn't driving drunk that night. It's a glimpse of the nearly 40 pending DWI cases prosecutors were forced to drop due to Lefebvre losing credibility. Hers is among the 7 case dismissals that reach beyond the metro.
Yeah, it doesn't send a good message, but by the same token, I can honestly say that the vast majority of law enforcement officers I've worked with across the state, they're out there doing their job, and I guarantee you, they hate this more than anybody.
Lefebvre is still on admin leave pending the federal and now internal investigation by state police. KRQE Investigates confirmed through public records the sergeant is still making a $54 an hour paycheck on leave. So far, paid more than $39,000 and counting to stay off the streets. And while we've seen officers criminally charged in this scheme, the feds so far have not charged Lefebvre. His long-standing crusade cracking down on drunk drivers now clouded with questions about his own conduct. Gabrielle Burkhart, KRQE Investigates.
In Bernalillo County, we've seen nearly 300 forced case dismissals as a result of officers losing credibility in court. State police tell us their internal investigation into Lefebvre is ongoing.
So we hear once in a while how cops really hate when, bad apples make them all look bad and stuff. If that's true, then those good cops out there should be watching the Bad Apple Report all the time. Are you out there, good cops? Are you watching the Bad Apple Report? If you are out there, you should be sharing it with all your cop buddies. Okay? Don't wind up on the Bad Apple Report. Thank you to all my Bad Apple squishers who watch the Bad Apple Report. You guys are awesome, and we shall squish again. See you soon.